Hi all, welcome to Sweeping the Floor, the podcast where we clean up the confusion and reveal the treasures hidden beneath the surface of blockchain technologies.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Josh, and we get together each month and teach each other about interesting projects that we found. Come, experience the journey with us while we learn how to wield the power of digital ownership of finance and entertainment.
Anything said in this podcast by me or Josh should not be considered financial, legal, or even life advice. This is all strictly our personal opinion and should not induce any sort of action or product. This is strictly for entertainment purposes only. So, in today's episode, we're going to give you our background stories and show you why we are really interested in blockchain technology and why we know it's going to change the world. So, this episode is really about making the space less intimidating and making sure that everybody knows they can come in and enjoy themselves. So, we hope you enjoy this episode. All right, so let's get into it.
All right.
So first, I got my questions here, everybody. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so professionally, I'm a transaction attorney. I mainly focus in real estate, business law, estate planning. Personally, I'm a father and a husband. Yeah. And honestly, I love spending time with my friends and family.
Great.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Family
Good
guy.
stuff. Family guy.
Yeah.
All right. So what initially drew you to the world of blockchain technology?
So I remember being home one, I think summer or some type of break from college at my parents' house, and 60 Minutes ran this episode of this guy trying to buy a pizza with Bitcoin. And
Infamous.
yeah, I thought it was insane because the guy had to find somebody willing to take this Bitcoin and transfer it into US dollars and then get a Papa John's or a Pizza Hut or something.
Okay.
It was a Pizza Hut. I can't remember who it was, but it took 12 to 18 hours for the pizza to get paid for, delivered, and the guy had it in his hands. And honestly, I thought it was so stupid at the time. And I was also a broke college kid, so I had no funds to be able to buy it anyways. Yeah. And I just honestly was so confused about it. And I really didn't think about it again until my work made me do a research project for something called an online notarization, where people can buy houses and they can sign digitally. So I did research on that, and the company I was researching built their technology on blockchain. So that was
really?
It was a way for them to get around fraudulent activity and everything. And honestly, that sent me down a rabbit hole, and I've not turned around since then. Yeah.
How long ago was it?
That was probably 2 or 3 years ago, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the company was built on blockchain. Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
When work finally paid off for me to learn something really valuable, right?
Right.
So
enough to work yourself out of doing something else, right? All right. So how did your perspective on success and wealth evolve over time?
So I would say when I was younger, my goal was to make $100,000 a year.
Sounds like a nice goal.
Yeah, in my mind, that was my vision of success. And now that I've grown older, and while I was in law school, I actually took a bunch of tax classes and finance classes, and I've learned, and my perception on that has changed from earning income to doing more long-term capital gains. And the reason for that is tax purposes. So me working in an ordinary job, I have to pay ordinary income, and that can go anywhere from 20 to 35%. And if I do long-term capital gain taxes, it can go anywhere from 0 to 15%.
So can we define long-term capital gain?
Yeah, so long-term capital gain is if you buy an asset and hold it for more than a year and then sell it. So that's considered long-term capital gain, and it's got a beneficial tax treatment of 0% up to 15%. And then if you're lucky and you make a ton of money, you can get taxed 20% on it too. And then short-term capital gains is if you buy something and hold it for less than a year and then sell it. That's treated as ordinary income. So it's whatever your tax bracket is for whenever you file your taxes at the end of the year. That's what that gain is going to be taxed at.
So what would be like an example of the type of asset that you would buy and hold for that long and then sell?
Real estate, obviously crypto.
Yeah.
Yes, crypto, NFTs, anything like that.
Oh, NFTs count as this?
Yeah, NFTs, they can count as
Okay.
long-term capital gains as well. So I'm a big collectible person, so I love buying NFTs. Unfortunately, I hardly ever hold anything longer than a year. So
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you see that green candle go
Yeah.
up, you know what I mean? Oh
It's
my
true.
gosh. Hello.
Hi, Frankie.
Hi, Frank. This
Come
is
in and
my
join.
dog. All right. Sorry for the dog break. We keep everything real and authentic on Sweeping the Floor. So, Josh, you work in the legal field and some in the financial realm. How do you think blockchain will help you advance these practice areas?
Honestly, I think blockchain is going to help remove a lot of restrictions that we have currently. So I started my practice in real estate, and there's a law called the Good Funds Act. So anytime someone that is buying a house or a rental property or anything like that comes to the closing table, we do meet in person here in Ohio. Anytime they have to come to the closing table and they have to bring more than $10,000, they absolutely have to send a federal wire transfer to my office, to my escrow account. They can't bring a portion, a check or cash or Venmo or anything like that. It has to be a Fed wire. And unfortunately, I've run into instances where the wire transfer isn't very instant. And the reason,
Just sitting there waiting on that. Okay.
the reason is because you go into a bank and you ask a bank teller, hey, I have this transaction coming up tomorrow. Can you initiate a wire transfer from my bank account? And you have to sign some documents and they have to prove you are who you say you are, which is great. And then after that, it's up to the two banking intermediaries to make sure that that wire goes through. So a lot of banks, since they're so big, they'll send it to their wire transfer office and they'll wait until it comes in batches build up, so it's more efficient for them. So they'll wait until they've got 10, 100 wire transfers, and then they'll all send them at one time. And then that's not the end of it. Then it goes, sometimes there's a Fed hold on it, so the Federal Reserve will review it to make sure that the wire's not coming from like a terrorist organization or a drug crime organization or anything like that. And then it gets released to the receiving bank, and then it's up to your receiving bank to transfer that money into the correct account.
TradFi, everybody.
Yeah, it's TradFi. It's great when it works, but sometimes there are a lot of resistance areas.
Yeah,
So
that sounds insane to even... Like, I don't even understand why cash doesn't work. Like, why...
well, first off, I would not accept a suitcase full of
$10,000.
unmarked bills and $10,000. That would make me feel even more nervous.
I guess.
But I think the way that blockchain can clean that up is you use ETH,
Yes.
and even if you were to use Bitcoin, I mean, the longest that you would have to wait for that transfer to go through is 15 minutes. You just have to wait until the next block is built. Fraudulent activity, I think, is a way to get cut down on that as well, because these institutions, once they start adopting these blockchains, they can make their ETH address, Solana address, Bitcoin address publicly available. As long as they're not sending out their seed phrases or anything like that, there's no fear of it being hacked or anything. And you and I can just go onto their regular website and pull their address off and then send it, and we are ready to go.
Yeah. So like, people aren't even worried about it being, going through any bad channels as far as like, like you said, drug money, terrorist organizations, because all that money is tracked. So they don't even have to go through that whole process of waiting for it to sit in something and then wait for somewhere else to receive it and sit there.
And and you got to think about all the individuals that it passes through too. I mean, I'm a human and I make clerical errors all the time. I transpose numbers because of my dyslexia. So, I mean, how many people have to type in the same numbers multiple times and have to make sure that it's done correctly?
Right. And you have to trust all of those people on that process.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, so let's get into a little definition.
Oh boy.
What are smart contracts?
Smart contracts are digitally created contracts that are self-executing. So if you were to do what I guess technically a dumb contract, you would come to me and say, hey, I'm Phil and I want to buy a piece of property from my friend Tyler. I would draw up a contract that says Phil's going to deposit $1,000 into my escrow account. And then when Tyler gets approved for a loan 30 days down the road, we're going to come together on a certain date and sign all these documents, and that contract's fulfilled. In the real world, a lot of things can go awry. Tyler could decide that he doesn't want to sell it to you anymore, and your only ramifications are threatening legal lawsuits or slandering in his name, I guess, but you have to go through all these channels to make sure that that contract's either followed through with or you get compensated for someone breaching that contract. A smart contract, on the other hand, if I were to say take out a DeFi loan and I put something up as collateral and I do something to make that collateral loan to value ratio go down, it's self-executing. So if I do something bad, that contract gets closed out and I get liquidated. And that person that took the risk to loan me that money gets compensated with my collateral instantly. You don't have to go through the legal processes.
And would the collateral be that same amount? You know, in your example, would it be that $30,000?
Yeah, the earnest money, it'd instantly be gone and it would go to compensate the other party for the breach that I caused in some way.
Okay.
So there's a lot of cool things I think that we're going to see smart contracts integrate with real world assets, RWAs.
Right.
So I got to watch out. I think they might replace me.
So I think another question that I have there is, so when you have the smart contract and then people put the money in and then the other person's supposed to get that money, if crypto is the way crypto is, people would ask, why would the money that you put in there be in there? And usually you own your own assets.
Yep. Could
you take that out?
So the way that these DeFi protocols work is, let's say I have 1 Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin worth today? 53?
I think we're getting close, yeah.
Yeah, so 50, let's just say it's worth $50,000 because we like to use nice even round numbers. So I go to a lending protocol and I deposit my 1 Bitcoin as collateral. So I'm relinquishing control of my Bitcoin. So not your keys, not your coins. I no longer have control over that. But I do trust this lending protocol. So I'm going to put it onto Aave. I can't even think of any other lending protocols right now off the top of my head that's not Solana based. So, I put my wrapped Bitcoin onto Aave, okay? And I trust this protocol. So I no longer have access to that. I don't control it. I can ask them to withdraw it if I don't borrow any money against it, okay? But I deposited it because I want to take out a loan to pay for a new car. So I take out a $20,000 loan with Aave.
Okay.
So I can pay back that loan whenever I want at an adjustable rate feature. If I want to get my Bitcoin back, I have to pay that loan off completely before I can withdraw my Bitcoin. If I let it sit there, I could allow interest to continue to accumulate to where I just instantly get liquidated once it goes over the 80% loan to value threshold or something like that. So that's kind of how that works. So then in that
example where we talked about me selling a house to Tyler,
yeah,
if he were to pay his loan before the contract went through, would the contract then be null and void?
So I guess for that question, I think a better sample would be you putting a mortgage on your house to buy it, right? Yeah. So in Ohio, you technically own the house outright, but they put this legal instrument of record called a mortgage, and you made an agreement with the bank to pay them a certain dollar amount each month. If you don't pay that certain dollar amount each month, the bank has the ability to go towards the foreclosure process. So let's pretend that we're the banks and we want our asset more quickly. In the TradFi world, you have to go through the foreclosure process, which takes anywhere from 60 to even longer, 60 days or even longer to go through the foreclosure process, because you have to go through the court processes to make sure everybody was served properly with service, to make sure that everybody had a chance to make their own legal argument. Most of the time, your legal argument is, I didn't pay, and the court's going to be like, well, that's a breach of the contract, so the house is theirs. Right. You have a chance to redeem and pay the house back for yourself, but if you're the bank, or if we lend money out to somebody else and we're wanting our collateral back, it's kind of hard to go through the process. And sometimes people are what's called judgment proof. I mean, so if this house has dropped a ton in value because you tore it up and the loan is worth a lot more, you have a shortage. So then the bank can sue the person individually for personal liability.
Wow.
But if that person's judgment proof, they don't have money to pay them back. So it's like trying to squeeze blood out of a rock or something like that. Yeah. It's not likely going to happen. So this is, I think we're going to see a lot more efficiencies happen with blockchain technologies, with banks, with other companies, with real world assets. It's going to be a really interesting evolution, honestly.
It's going to be world changing, as we said before.
For sure.
Okay, all right. So we'll get out of that. So, enough about definitions. Let's get more into about you as a personal human being.
Okay.
Tell us about your favorite blockchain and why.
Okay. So, when I first started, I got into ETH.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you're pretty big on ETH. I still hold a lot of ETH. I'd say it's probably about 60% of my crypto holdings.
Oh, okay. So you majority.
A majority, but I just don't use it very much.
And you like using it?
I don't like to use it because I think it's a valuable asset. Some people hold Bitcoin because they believe that it's just going to continue to go up in value because of the debasement of our US dollar.
Yes.
I hold ETH for the same exact reason, and it's deflationary. Right. And also, I don't like to use it because the gas fees are really high. So I have paid probably $40 or $60 on gas fees for one transaction to buy an NFT or something, and honestly, it really hurt my soul. Layer 2s are great.
Yes.
I really like Base. I use Optimism the most. You still have to pay probably around 15 cents per transaction on those. So I guess it's a good way for me not to go fully degen on my largest holding, which is good.
Yeah, that's true.
So
keeps you honest.
It does. Solana is my filthy pleasure. So I've been really diving into Solana. I honestly bought Solana the first time when it was about $250 a coin.
Oh my gosh.
Between 200 and 250. And thank God I sold most of that before the FTX collapse. So Sam Bankman-Fried, you guys have probably heard about him.
Yeah.
It caused the whole market to just collapse, and then we had a cascading effect after that. But I got back
right out.
Yeah,
you got out there
I got
right
lucky
before.
And thank God for Twitter X now, because if you follow that stuff closely, you have your ear to the ground on what's going on.
So is that kind of what prompted you to get out?
Yeah. I literally watched like the collapse at my mother-in-law's house, and when I saw the first signs of it crumbling, I sold. I sold at a loss, don't get me wrong, but I didn't sell at $8 when I bought at $250, so I probably sold, I don't know, for 10 or 20% loss. But I did get back in when it was around $20, so it's been fun to play around with it at that level.
Right.
Is
there any part of you that wishes you would have just held until that whole...
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
If anybody tells you hodl is the way to go...
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice, but I do believe holding a valuable asset for a long-term period is a great move if you get in at the right entry level.
Oh, okay.
Had I bought when it was 50 cents a token, I would have been okay with holding maybe all the way down to $8.
Yeah.
Because I would still be a profit, but had I not sold from $250, I wouldn't have been able to reaccumulate at a much lower entry level price.
I guess you'd still be at a loss.
Yeah, I would still be at a loss. It still has to more than double for me to have been able to get my money back on that. But
so I think at the time of recording this, Sol's at 113.
113, 115 around there. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's super fast. I like it. Magic Eden's fun to play around with, which is an NFT platform. I need to stop buying and selling NFTs because I'm not very good at it.
But it's fun. You're having fun.
It is fun.
Right?
It is fun. DeFi is amazing on Solana.
Yeah.
I felt like I was priced out on ETH. I couldn't experiment, and I think that's the most enjoyable part about it is experiencing stuff.
So DeFi is cheaper on Solana than it is on Ethereum.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the fact that ETH is more expensive to do DeFi on it because I'm not so risky with my assets. Like, if I'm actually going to do a transaction on ETH, I thoroughly think it out before I do anything because I know that if I do a bunch of things, I'm going to have to pay a bunch of transaction fees for it. Solana, I can just do something real crazy, exit that position, and then reassess and then jump back into something else crazy and do like hundreds of transactions, thousands of transactions, and not even spend more than $5.
Yeah.
So it's fun that way, and I feel like I've learned a lot on how the protocols work. So I'm really into like DeFi, so I like to lend my assets out. This is a small holding of my total portfolio, by the way. It's just play money.
Yeah.
So I'll lend money to protocols. That way I can use that as collateral to then borrow, and then use that borrowed asset to go and play on another platform. And
how many times have you been liquidated?
I have not been liquidated
okay,
yet.
all right.
So
good,
I've never been liquidated, knock on wood. Now it's
on-
probably going to happen.
Find some wood, right?
Let's knock on the floor.
I just saw you. Okay.
I am responsible
Good.
somewhat with it.
Yeah.
So
And then you also mentioned NFTs. What NFTs are you buying on Solana?
So there's this project called Clanosaurs right now.
Oh yeah.
It's a dinosaur project. It's kind of pricey right now. It's around 35 Sol, so probably around $3,500 US to 4,000. Those are cool. The people behind that project have worked in big companies like Pixar and Disney and just a ton of talent there.
That's why that looks so good.
Yeah, they got a TikTok.
Okay.
They got a really good following on TikTok and Instagram. They make really nice art and it looks beautiful. Saga Monks is a cool project. It's pixelated art. I kind of like it. It's D-Jenny. I can show you later.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get the Solana Saga phone, by the way.
Yeah, he was.
Thank my wife for that for a Christmas present. But holding a Solana Saga phone, you were airdropped if you opened the box within a certain period of time. I think before December, you got airdropped a Solana Saga Monk Solana Monk NFT, and it's a pixelated monkey JPEG basically, and it's really cool. I don't know. Some of them look really dumb, but art's art,
cool,
right?
Art is art.
People like some stuff.
So I didn't realize that you had to open the phone within a certain period of time.
Yes, you had to activate the phone and have your wallet up and ready in that that NFT that is attached to it, non-transferable, is your key to basically getting those airdrops.
That's smart, because then it's not like people just holding the phone until it gets to a certain amount of value.
Yep.
Okay, Solana, I see you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, speaking of cool things, what is your favorite thing to do on chain?
Like I said, DeFi is the way to go. I like to experiment with that, mainly because of my legal and financial background. It's honestly going to be the future. It is going to eat our finance industry. It's going to eat our legal industry, entertainment, everything. It's so cool. And then DPIN. You know about DPIN.
Yes.
The assets that you can use in the real world that allow you to earn passive income.
Yes.
So, mobile is one of them from the Helium network, which is basically a $20 a month phone network. We have a video about that.
Got another video for that one. Unboxing.
There is Hive Mapper.
Love Hive Mapper.
Yeah, which is crazy.
I've had a good time with Hive Mapper.
So
get my honey.
You get these cameras that you install in your car, and just you driving to work or vacation or visiting your parents, you're helping map this like cooperative organization or group that will compete with Google Maps, and you get compensated with it with is it Honey?
Yeah, it's Honey.
Honey, yeah. So
and like on top of that, even if you don't want to drive around, the way I help out the protocol is I just get on there, and the people who are driving around, all those images are sent to an AI that's going to help build the map. So I go on to the platform, and I help train the AI. So it'll come up with an image of a stop sign or a turn signal, and I have to choose what it is so that the AI kind of learns what's going on. And then Hive will drop me Honey into my account, and I can hold on to that Honey, or I can switch it into Solana.
Yeah.
Do whatever I want with it.
You were telling me about that. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. So I just sit there while I'm watching TV and help train this AI. I'm like, oh, stop sign, turn signal, stop sign, turn signal. Getting paid while I'm just...
And that token's been pumping, right?
Binging. Yeah, it's been pumping. It's been a good time. I love it.
So you get paid to use these products, basically, since we're so early.
Yes.
We're the guinea pigs. We're testing out things and working out the kinks, and we get compensated from it because we are able to see how the future's going to pan out, probably.
It's being good, filthy DJs.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. So I think we talked a bit about loans and how that works. Mm-hmm. So I think this is our last question.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So, what are you most excited about when producing Sweeping the Floor?
Well, I'm really interested to learn about things that like you're into, because you get into the social media platforms, and you're a content producer because you're a musician and artist and producer. So I'm interested to hear from it from that aspect. And also, I'm really interested to kind of work with my best friend.
Hey,
so,
let's go.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really fun adventure, and hopefully we can make this space more welcoming to people. I know it's a little overwhelming, and I'm sorry if sometimes we talk over people's heads, or maybe we're not technical enough, but I feel like, gonna be,
I feel like
appeal to the average person, right?
The average person is the goal. So you technical people who already know a bunch about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, we might not be.
Yeah, probably not be the best place for you. But yeah.
We're here to teach everybody and welcome everybody and be welcoming.
Yes.
And learn.
Right. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out in the comments and things like that.
Yep.
We can go dive deeper on stuff all day, but I think our main content will be, for the average person who just turns it on. Okay, what is this Bitcoin? Cool.
Let's ask Phil some questions.
All right. Well, we'll get into me now.
So, Phil, you're in the hot seat now. Tell us a bit about yourself.
So I am currently working in immigration law, but I will be moving into a marketing position.
Congrats on the new job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
And then I run my own music publishing company. We are in the stew right now, my back cave, and I enjoy that. Make my own music, and then I have other artists that I sign to the publishing company, and I put out their music, work on their social media, teach them about, branding and social media and copyright and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm also an actor as much as I can when I can, especially here in Cincinnati is where we're at, and we're starting to get a lot more movies and more film people around this area, and it's been fun. So, yeah, and then I'm a DJ.
Phil never brings this up, and I don't know why, but he's also got an MBA from Xavier University, which is pretty cool.
I do, yeah.
So, what initially drew you to the world of blockchain technology?
So the very first thing, as how most people probably are, is money. I heard that I can make some money, and I was very much into 401ks and put my money in a savings account and get 1% every year sort of situation. I was like, oh, that sounds like I'm doing something. So I need to do more. So then I got into stocks, and then stocks, I was like, oh, this is now I have more control over my yield. I can get some, build into companies. And then crypto obviously happened, and actually, thanks to you pushing me, keep telling me about these NFTs. I remember we were sitting at that one brewery, and you were telling me about NFTs. I did not believe you. I was like, this dude is insane. I don't understand why he keeps telling me about this stuff. And then, actually, back in 2013. Sorry, I'm going all over the place.
That's okay.
So the first time I got introduced into crypto, it was around 2013. One of my friends out in California was trying to get me to mine Bitcoin, and did not have the time, resources, or money to even think about that.
Right.
I was like, okay, whatever. Fast forward a couple years later, we're sitting in the brewery, you're telling me about the stuff again. I'm like, still? This is still a thing?
It's still around, it will not die.
And then I think it was like a couple months after that, like right before COVID, we were at the brewery again, and you were telling me about it again. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to look this stuff up. And then COVID hit, and I'm in my house, so I might as well dive head first into it.
Yeah. And I would honestly like to say in front of the whole world, thank you for joining, because I had all of this information and all of this hype, and everybody's eyes would glaze over after the first 3 minutes of me talking about this.
Yeah.
And now anytime I meet up with Phil, which is usually on a weekly basis,
Yes,
we get to talk about crypto, and it's fun because we're both just as passionate about
I
it.
mean,
So
it brings me life now.
Yeah.
Now I'm like trying to get everybody to talk about it, and I just feel bad for like not
eventually,
taking it on.
Eventually, everybody else will be green pilled.
That's true.
It'll be okay.
You'll get that.
Yeah.
You're already here, so.
Yeah. How did your perspective on success and wealth evolve over time?
Ooh, so I grew up very much into music, and that was like my life goal, to be rich and famous. So I tried as hard as I could to go do that. And I had a great time. Well, I'm still having a great time doing it. And what kind of led me towards blockchain and crypto is the ownership aspect. So tie those two things together. Being rich and famous doesn't bring you wealth, but ownership brings you wealth. So I was like, oh, so I don't need to be, the big face of anything. I don't need my songs to go viral. But if I start owning the things that I put out into the world, those things can bring me wealth. And the things that I'm putting out into the world, I should own. So, and then blockchain allows you to do all of those things. So I was like, you know what? Let me create a business. Let me help other people,
Right.
to, own their things. And that can, sort of be that streamline that helps out everybody. And which all, there was a great quote I heard literally the other day. It was, I helped a man climb a mountain and then realized I was at the top too. And that's kind of what my mentality is.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I pushed NFTs so hard on you, honestly.
Thank you for the monkeys, yeah.
The ownership thing behind you being a content creator and a musician and all that stuff was so fascinating to me, because you don't have to be a Beyonce or Taylor Swift or a Jay-Z level success. You can have a core base of 100 or even 1,000 fans, and you can make a living off of doing what you're passionate about. And
Right.
I mean, and it is going back to that ownership thing. You don't have to worry about the third-party intermediaries siphoning your funds away. You get to take most, if not all, of the profits, because you actually own the IP and the content that you're producing. So
Yeah, and I love owning the stuff, and I love making the money, but the other aspect is you can also provide value to your fans, and your fans now have a stake in your music.
Right.
So they not only want you to be successful because you're good at what you do, but now they can also make money off of it. And it's like we can all win together, and I can give you a free t-shirt whenever I want.
Right. Yeah. So you work in the film and theater world and own a publishing company. What role did your initial passion for entertainment play in your journey towards blockchain?
Ooh, what role did they play? I think understanding where AI is going really kind of pushed me in that direction. And I love AI. I'm a big Web3 in general person, and tech person, and like all of it. I love all of it. And I saw kind of what AI was doing for music, and I saw what AI was doing for acting. You have to start to use these technologies to help you, I guess, progress and not have to be scared of them. So people will forever use AI to make songs about, make songs of people's voice. There's not going to be a way for us to stop that.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing right now. And, Universal just took all of their artists' music off of TikTok, and it was just this big thing because they want to, combat the people who are using AI to use Taylor Swift's voice to make a song. And I was like, you taking your music off of TikTok isn't going to stop anybody from doing that.
Yeah.
So instead, I can use blockchain to own my music. And then the person who's really good at using my voice to make a song, I can then say, hey, I'm going to make this song legit and I'll release it under my ENS name. And now your song that you made without me is making us both money.
Right.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool to me.
All right. So how do you view the importance of innovation in the rapidly evolving landscape of blockchain technology?
Ooh, so innovation. Innovation is paramount. And change happens often, especially in the blockchain world. And you have to be able to, I guess, navigate and embrace how the world's going to bend you. Change or die is kind of one of my mantras. Because this space, I know we made this episode to be non-intimidating, but I think the way that happens is that you understand that you can't catch everything.
Yeah.
The thing that you're going to wake up and look at might be different than, when you looked at it about a week ago, and you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
You just have to be able to be like, hey, this is just an ever-changing world, and if I can be okay with that, I can live in it.
I love crypto Twitter, but I also hate crypto Twitter because my bags might be up, but I see somebody else's bags up 5 times more than mine, and I get some envy, and comparison is the thief of joy, and that is so true
It
with
really
that.
is.
So
I mean, it's like your phone, like his phone.
Yeah.
He got the Saga. I looked at the Saga. I wanted the Saga. Before I knew y'all wanted the Saga, I was like, oh, nobody else wants it. I won't buy it for $200.
Yeah.
Literally a month later,
It blew up.
it blew up.
Yeah.
And I gotta be okay with it.
Yeah. There'll be another thing.
There'll be another one.
There's another wave to catch. There always is.
But don't try to catch everything.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I learned.
Don't buy the top.
Yes, don't buy the top.
Don't be the exit liquidity.
You're right.
On the meme coins is basically what we're getting at. Can you elaborate on the transformative experience that led you to explore blockchain as a path to success?
So, I think it really, kind of what we were talking about before, is that I understood where successful people, I guess, become successful. And it's they were able to put out something and own that thing, and then be able to help other people get better. And that's kind of the trajectory that I see blockchain going, and especially with it being so early, is that's what you have to do.
How do you feel about loyalty on brands and
I think
rewards
that's where,
for your fan base?
yeah. I think that's beyond music, beyond my fan base, I think that is where the whole world is going. Is there's going to be a plethora of options. So what do you do as a brand to keep people in? Is that you have to create a loyalty, you have to give people value, because I can go buy a car from anywhere, I can go buy soap from anywhere, I can go buy my music equipment from anywhere, but now these brands are going to have to give me value to keep me loyal to their brand. And how are they going to do that? Well, if everything is on chain, they know what everybody is buying, they know where they are going, they know what other brands they interact with, they know what videos they like to watch. So now I'm able to create a marketing plan that deals with a more one-to-one relationship with my base than it is, I just have to, create the right Twitter ad or Facebook post or LinkedIn post. Now I can individually find where people are and really do more of a ingrained inbound market than
More personal interactions.
more personal interactions, exactly.
It's so funny that you say that, because that instantly makes me think of my mom and car insurance. I know this is so weird, but
No, go ahead.
my mom has been with the same car insurance company for 30 years, and one would think that being with a company for so long, there would be some type of loyalty. But I feel like us in our age group, we're like mercenaries.
Oh, yeah.
Like we were like, screw that insurance company. I'm dropping them because I can go to this other one because they offer intro deals. So it pays for us to just jump ship and chase these offers that are more affordable and more rewarding because these companies offer those better intro deals. It's gonna, I think, force these companies' hands because the blockchain does make this information more opaque and more transparent to where we can see where all the best deals are at all time, what all these other customers are paying for these products, same exact product that we're using. So I think we're gonna start to see a shift from our generation from being these merchants or mercenaries that are jumping ship and chasing the best deals to where we're going to start to be more loyal, and we see these companies offer long-term holders of their product more discounts or more products or more services and things like that. So.
Yeah, and honestly, since it's all tokenized, it will all be on chain, and now all of those people can create their own community around whatever brand that they are, most passionate about, because, you're buying into their reason why and not what their product is, but why they're selling the product. And yeah, so I think that's a great point.
Yeah, good point for you for bringing that up. Yeah. So I guess that's a good point to lead into this next question is, how has blockchain empowered you to connect with your audience on a deeper level and provided added value to them?
So I actually was able to create my own NFT, which was super exciting.
I own one.
Yes, he does. And basically, the situation I created was, if you come to this show and you have an Ethereum address or you have a Polygon address, I can airdrop you an NFT. And the NFT is this AI-generated art, and I put music into it, and then now you can listen to one of my songs on chain. And it's forever there. And now I know that he has it and a few other people have it. And now later in the future, I can be like, hey, the first people who ever owned my NFT, I want to reward that crowd. You know what? Here's a unreleased song that I'm not going to release to anybody else. Send it right into their wallet address, whether they, engage with me still or not. But it can bring them back into engaging with me in my art, or it can tell them to tell other people like, hey, I engaged with this person first, and you have proof of it. It's no longer, oh, I went to that concert and people are like, oh, that's cool. So what? Or I don't even believe you.
I'm a super fan. Here's my proof.
Now I'm a super fan.
I will tell you, I was really impressed with that, by the way. So I've known you for many years now, and I mean, you can tell me, do you feel like you're a very technical person?
No, I am not. And it's weird because I can use the technology to learn about the technology. So the way I created the NFT, I barely even know what NFT means, the 3 words that make that up. But I was able to use AI to teach me about how to use blockchain, and it was a fairly simple process, and the platform itself helped me do it. It was almost as easy as creating a Facebook post or making a TikTok video. It was like, oh, I can make an NFT, and it sounds cool, but it really wasn't that big of a deal to make. It was just more about decision of doing it and just trying it out and seeing what I could do on chain. And I was able to, just drop it in somebody else's wallet. So yeah, the AI was helping me make blockchain, and more blockchain got me interested in more AI, and it created this whole exponential growth situation. So
I know that Phil is a huge Rob Paul fan.
Huge.
And Real Vision is the podcast. I'm a big fan of it as well. I might have even introduced you to it first because I think that was one of the main podcasts that I was listening to at a point in time. But Rob Paul's really big on this exponential growth thing, and you just brought up that term. What does that mean for you in the context of blockchain, and how does it personally help you grow and learn more? So
I think it's understanding that Rob Paul is a very big futurist guy. He brings a lot of futurists on his podcasts. When I was first getting into this whole crypto world, you sent me a bunch of different podcasts.
I did, yes.
Was a Block Crunch, I won't list them all.
There's a ton.
Yeah, there's a ton. And yeah, Rob Paul is one of them, and he talks about this age that we are in now called the exponential age, and it's where everything just starts compounding on top of each other because of all of the plethora of information that is now at our fingertips, and you can create and do anything you want now. If you have an idea, now you can do that idea without a lot of barrier in between. So I guess the way I was kind of thinking about it was my rings, and if I have the ability to buy more rings, and then if I were to able to get more fingers, I'd be able to put more rings on more fingers, and then if I were to get more rings, I'd get more fingers, and it just kind of creates this whole entire blow up of possibilities. And I don't know, what we can do with that or where that's going to go, but I think blockchain creates that sort of situation that we can.
Yeah, blockchain and AI
Yeah.
together for sure.
Yeah.
Makes compounding knowledge for us for learning and in the way that our world's going to operate. It's really interesting. I highly recommend checking out Rob Paul, Real Vision.
Yes.
I think that's it, guys. Thanks for hanging with us and along our journey. We really wanted this to be like an intro for Phil and myself to show why we were interested in this technology in the first place. I think you'll gather that we're not technical people. We're more, run-of-the-mill normal people. But this industry, this technology, all of this information has really grabbed our attention, and we have dedicated a lot of our free time to learning more about this.
A lot of it, yes.
I meet with Phil on a weekly basis, and this is something we really connect on, and we hope that we can help you guys along with this journey and learning. Our next episode is either going to be about the big three chains that are available now. So I would consider those big three to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. We're chain agnostic here. I'm probably not so chain agnostic, but I'll try to keep that secret.
I mean, there's a little bit of ebb and flow. He probably flows more towards the Solana side. I ebb more towards the Ethereum side, and that's just you can have your preferences, but
sure, they're all good.
Yes,
and or the other episode will either be us trying to do some introductory stuff, such as how to open up a wallet and how to use on-ramp, off-ramp, fiat to be able to interact on cryptocurrency in general. Some other basic beginner stuff too. So thanks for being with us.
Yeah, and we appreciate it. So let's keep sweeping the floor.
Yeah, thanks guys. See ya.
Bye.